Welcome to the Livfiit Listens podcast, a safe space of growth, personal development, and overall wellness with your host, Olivia Catania. Diving into the realms of all things health, conscious living, mental expansion, and much more, this podcast is designed to help you evolve into your best self and live fit. Let's get into the show. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Livfiit Listens podcast, episode 68. It's been a minute. It's really been a minute, and I know I'm sorry. This is where it really is beneficial to stay up to date on all my other platforms, but I understand that a lot of you guys actually don't have other social media, which I respect, and I honestly don't want to drag you into the social media space if that's not where you're feeling called to, because I get it, like stay in real life. But I did announce on Instagram that I was going to take a little bit of a break from the podcast just because I was feeling very, I don't know, I want to say burnt out, but at the same time, I don't think that's the most appropriate word. I just was kind of feeling uninspired, I think is the best way to put it. And I felt like I was forcing content. And this platform specifically, I find it very, very hard to force content if I don't have a very clear, passionate message. It's like the episodes just don't even compare to when I do. / I feel like it's easy on other platforms to be like, oh, I'll just film like another day in my life or something. But here, when it's like the basis of this podcast is like heartfelt and intentional messages, it's like hard to force that, and that's not there, obviously. And I just felt like I was trying too hard. I was trying too hard, and it kind of turned into my content bear of the week. Like it was the hardest part of my week in terms of trying to come up with content for it. And I just wasn't liking that. And this podcast, I barely make any money from this. It's not anything that's like this is purely kind of my side passion project. And I love how impactful it is for you guys. And I love how much I feel like we connect on this platform. And I love how much I'm able to express my true mind and like what my mind actually thinks about, and a lot of kind of the more spiritual thoughts that go on in my head that I found that I couldn't quite fit in other content pieces, I guess, for me. So I love having this space. And so it's just not something that I ever want to force. This is a very precious space to me, and I want to keep it very intentional and very passionate. And so I felt like taking a step back was exactly what I needed. I don't even know how long it's been at this point. I hope it very well could be 3 weeks, which is kind of going to that's crazy for me to admit because I haven't really gone this long. Maybe it's 4. Do I even want to know? I kind of want to know. I kind of want to look it up. Anyways, if you are not watching on YouTube, which by the way, just want to remind everyone that I have switched over the podcast to a separate podcast YouTube channel for you guys to watch. So it's not on my normal Livfiit vlog channel anymore. I created a whole separate YouTube channel called the Livfiit Listens podcast. So if you want to be watching this, don't forget to go over there to watch, and you can subscribe. But I am in Costa Rica right now, so the scene is very different. I feel like if you guys aren't up to date on my other social media platforms, you're probably like, Olivia, what? So yeah, I am in Costa Rica right now. I'm here for right now I only have like 4 weeks left alone, which is crazy. And then 2 weeks after that, I'm hosting my retreats. So a lot of big changes. And with that, there's a lot of noise around me. The construction here is quite loud, and it's Sunday. And I was so sure that there would be no construction happening on a Sunday. And I was like, perfect, I'll just have Sunday be my podcasting days. No, they were still here at 7 a.m. So luckily you can't really hear too much of it, I don't think, with my microphone, but it's definitely a little bit in the background. In case you do, just little disclaimer. But so yeah, a lot of shifts. I've been here for almost a week and a half now, and I basically just want to kind of sit and chat with you guys a little bit about my experience. And I feel like, again, sometimes I overwhelm myself with this platform to be always super just super inspiring and enlightening and like have some of these really big messages. And I love bringing those to you guys. Like when I have a really heavy message on my heart, not heavy, like a loud message on my heart that I really have been, tapped into that week. I love sharing that with you, but sometimes I don't always have that. And so I think sometimes that's what makes me feel like my episodes tend to be less valuable when I don't feel that way about messages, you know what I mean? Like if I don't feel like there was something that was very loud on my heart that week, I feel like I'm not bringing as much value to you guys. And so I kind of, in my time away, have been reflecting, and I don't want that to be what's inhibiting me from creating content for you guys. And like when I announced on my Instagram that I was taking some time away, I got a message from someone that was like, even if you just like talk about your week, like I just love hearing you talk. And I was like, that was, first of all, very sweet. I thought that was a really sweet thing to say. But also it made me think of like, yeah, like that is true. Like I don't need to be coming on here thinking like I'm speaking the words of frickin' Gandhi, every episode. Like, again, I love bringing those episodes to you, but I don't want that to be a reason why I feel less stoked about my content or feeling like my content isn't as valuable on here or shying away from content in general. So that's a reason. But I also just simply wanted to catch you guys up to speed about where I am, what I'm feeling like, all that sort of stuff, because I do feel like there's value in me simply just sharing kind of my experiences and simply documenting. And I think that's another portion of what I do in content creation. I feel like I have I feel like many content creators are in different niches, right? And there's some who simply provide value where there's not a ton of personal story to it, but they're sharing a lot of informational stuff to help educate people, which I feel like is a lot of this podcast. There's a lot of teachings in this podcast, but then there's also people who are purely just vloggers or they purely just document their life and that's their content. And I feel like I have that mesh between the two. I dabble in both. I have a lot of informational content, whether that's about working out on TikTok and YouTube, but I also have a lot of personal documentation of my life on Instagram and in my vlogs and stuff like that. And so I think sometimes I sometimes get caught up in feeling like I need to fit in either category when I really just want to, stay true to myself and just create what I feel called to, whether sometimes that is informational content, sometimes that's me just talking to you guys because I do love being in front of the camera and I love just connecting with you guys. So I just want to bring this candid episode to you guys just to kind of touch base and share kind of what I've been going through, and maybe you can find resonance in it, you can find entertainment, maybe you just care about me and want to know what's going on, which I appreciate you so much. And I hope also there may even be some perspective shifts, some lesson takeaways, all the good stuff. So of course, to start off with gratitude, I am very thankful to be here in Costa Rica and to be experiencing so much newness. I have already had I was journaling about this the other day where I feel like, again, it's only been a week and a half, but simply just being in this environment, I feel like has given me a lot of unspoken lessons in a really weird way. I was writing how it's like they're almost like intangible lessons. It's not like I necessarily have like stories to tell you guys of like what I've learned so far. It's just more so like the essence of this place and the essence of being here has definitely been very impactful and powerful for me. And it's kind of almost just like simply just being here has been offering, new guidance and just a different environment to allow me to kind of transform and have different revelations. So I am excited to continue my stay here. Again, I have about 4-ish weeks left and just continuing to be in this space and learn more about myself and life and cultures and all the other people that are here and all that sort of stuff. But I must say this first week has definitely been challenging for me, I feel like, and I can't help but feel like I've been comparing this experience so far to that of Hawaii, and not necessarily in the sense that because I'm trying to replicate that experience, I'm genuinely not at all, because also it's totally two completely different places. Like I'm in Central America, I was in a very well-developed, USA state in Hawaii. So I know it's so different, but I guess it's more so on the state of reference for me. I guess it's just Hawaii was the first time I'd ever done something like that where I moved to a new place for 2 months. And so that's kind of really, I guess I did that when I went to Spain too, but it just was different because I was in a program. I was in college studying abroad. So it just felt more it just was different. I was going and I felt like a program was catching me figuratively. Hawaii was my first time going somewhere completely alone, and now I'm doing that again here in a whole new country by myself to an area of the world I've never been. I've never been to Central America, and it's just been a lot, especially like I'm saying when I first got here. It was kind of, I don't even want to say a culture shock because it's not that much different culturally. I say that lightly because I still haven't experienced very much. I don't want to offend anyone. I know it's different from the US, but it just more so was a whole different environment, and I'm very much so in the jungle. And when I first got here, it does look very underdeveloped when you first get here, and especially the area that I'm in Costa Rica, if you don't know what's going on, how the town works, it looks very underdeveloped. It looks very empty. Like I'm on basically one road. There's a ton of vegetation, which I love. It's beautiful. But like I'm saying, you can't really tell that there's shops and cafes and stuff unless you're like walking on the road and can like check it out. So like when I first was driving on the street for the first time and looking around, I was like, where am I? Like my initial genuine first thought was like, what did I just get myself into? Did I come here for way too long? Like, what am I supposed to do for the 5 weeks that I'm here? Like I'm completely alone. It just definitely felt very isolated, desolate, remote, and underdeveloped. Is like totally my initial honest, genuine thoughts. And like when I pulled onto my road, it's just like a dirt road. Again, a bunch of vegetation. It's like, it just looks like there's like nothing. And where I live, there's like, I have to go down like a pretty steep, like little hill thing. And I'm like in a car. And so I couldn't totally tell like what was in front of me. Like I just was so, and my GPS was like, all right, you're here. And I'm like in the middle of a dirt road. Like I didn't know where my Airbnb was, which by the way, I am staying in an Airbnb. Again, if you want some more like context, go look at my YouTube at Livfiit. I've been posting a couple vlogs on there, and I just posted an Airbnb tour and stuff like that. But I just was so like, what's going on? Like I just felt so remote, so isolated and vulnerable, honestly. And my Airbnb is like literally up on the side of a jungle mountain, which I love it. And it's beautiful. And I have so much vegetation around me, which I love. It's like it lights me up. I feel so inspired being here. But then like at night, it gets a little scary because it's pretty dark. And then I have like a lot of windows in my Airbnb again, which I also love during the daytime. But at night, I get a little bit scared. And it's just like, it's just new. Like at the end of the day, it's unfamiliar. And I have two such harsh sides of me. I was saying this in my YouTube video where like, again, you guys know I'm a Cancer sun, but I'm also a Sagittarius moon and a Sagittarius rising, which I'm not trying to blame my whole entire personality and preferences on my astrological chart, but I am just saying I do really resonate with those two different sides of my personality. I have the part of me, the Cancer side of me that loves routine, that loves familiarity, that loves being home. And then I have the Sagittarius part of me that's like, woo, adventure, travel, like let's go, like having the time of our lives. And when I first do something like this, my Cancer side of me like is squirming. Like when I first got here, I was like, this Airbnb is so new. I don't like it. I knew in the sense of unfamiliar, not new, like they just built it. Just, it's like, feels so unfamiliar. I don't have a routine here. I don't have a flow. I don't have a morning routine here. I don't have a night routine here. So I just think in the beginning, that's why the first week felt very challenging the first few days. But now I've been feeling so much better, which I could also totally do an episode on that about like how I'm able to kind of sink into finding comfort in unfamiliar places. Because for me, a huge thing for that was routine. I've been focusing really heavy on my morning routines and even my night routine to feel more safe and comfortable. I like close the blinds kind of early. I start turning on the lights even before the sun goes down because I find that like if I go out and then come back and it's dark, I get kind of scared to like do all that. So I've been like, you know, remembering to turn on the light before I leave and close everything down. I go into like night mode. I don't know if anyone has ever lived van life, but I have a little bit. I've had some experience here and there. And like you have to turn the van into night mode where you like put the little things on the windows to cover the windows. You just kind of get all set. You open up the bed. And so I've kind of been doing that in my Airbnb to feel more comfortable and be just prepared once the sun goes down so I don't get so creeped out. So it's like little things like that that I've been trying to do and like find a routine and flow since being here and just kind of get my bearings and getting orientated. So I feel a lot better now. And I just feel overall more comfortable. I have more of a routine and more of a flow here, which is very good. And I'm feeling like I'm building up the courage to be more adventurous here, if that makes sense. I've kind of just been laying low, focusing on going into shops and exploring different places to eat and getting familiar with the beaches here and starting surfing and things like that. But it still was very reserved. And now I'm kind of feeling ready to open myself up to venturing down around to different towns with the car and all that sort of stuff. So slowly but surely, I've just been trying to have patience with myself and take things slow because again, I am in a whole new country and I don't want to put so much pressure on myself to like go. You only have so much time to do here, get content, blah, blah, blah. I just have been trying to just be and allow myself to be in each phase of the adjustment process, I guess, if you will. I also have definitely been missing loved ones more than I kind of did when I was in Hawaii, which I kind of want to get into later in the episode. But that's been another thing that I've been battling. Obviously, I have a boyfriend and, well, I guess not obviously, but I do have a boyfriend. I mean more so that obviously I'm missing him. And I just have gotten closer with like my mom and my family and stuff since like being home after Hawaii because my mom basically moved out to Utah while I was in Hawaii. So once I got back was when she was there. And so this past year, we've gotten so much closer. I've seen her more than I have in the past like 4 years, honestly, I feel like. So we've gotten closer. I've just gotten more used to her company. So saying this now is making me feel emotional. I feel like I haven't actually talked about it. Hello, therapy on my own podcast. But yeah, I just feel like I didn't really have that. I was not expecting to cry. I'm not just saying that. I guess I haven't like fully acknowledged it. I've been like, oh my goodness. Okay. I guess I haven't like fully acknowledged that when I've been talking to people. Like I've been, talking to my mom, talking to my dad, talking to my boyfriend, my sisters and everything. But I haven't like acknowledged, I guess, that I miss everyone. I don't know, as much as I do feel that. I don't know. So I feel like that's been something that's been like underlying in the background of me not feeling so stoked. And again, I feel like if you guys are really close subscribers and followers, you know how lit up I was being in Hawaii. And I don't say that I don't feel that way to be ungrateful. Like I know this is such a precious and special experience, and I really am trying to do what I can to like fully enjoy all pieces of it. But I'm also human, and there's also so many emotions that come with such a big change. Like I am here for quite a bit. Like I moved here for, about 2 months completely by myself. And I think it's, I don't even want to sit here and say what's normal and what's not normal and what's good or bad. Like everyone has their own experiences. I'm just simply stating this from a state of observation. I just have definitely been feeling a little bit more lonely than I was, I guess, in Hawaii. Because I just think at that phase of my life, in that period of my life, I just was more in that phase. I was more into wanting to be alone all the time. I was more in that phase of just independence. And I don't say that, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm less independent. I just feel like as I'm getting older, I'm kind of outgrowing that need to constantly do everything alone, which again, we can, I guess, just pour into now, because I feel like I've been going through a lot of lessons already since being here. I feel like I'm in the heat of the lessons. So I feel like there's definitely still a lot more clarity and me to like fully come full circle with these lessons. I feel like right now I'm in the learning stages of them. But I definitely feel like I've been going through a lot of lessons since being here, and I'm kind of working up to the realizations of what they're trying to teach me. And one of those things that I've recognized is I'm realizing that lesson of that it's really beautiful to be able to share experiences with loved ones. And I'm getting to that point in my life where I want to be sharing more things with people. I don't feel this need to constantly be alone all the time. Speaking of which, Rachel just texted me. I don't know why I'm emotional now. I'm like, I miss everybody. But yeah, I just think before I went to Hawaii, I was so much, and I think that's why I felt such this uncontrollable pull to go there. I was like, I want to go there. I want to know absolutely no one. I don't want anyone to come visit me. I don't want anyone, like, it was such an independent power move, which I love that for me, and I love that I went. It was such a character development moment for me. But now I just don't feel myself needing that all the time, and I find myself wanting company. And again, I don't necessarily feel like it's from a place of codependence. I truly don't, because I still know I'm okay. Like I still came here obviously and I'm fine, and I do love my routines. I just have been realizing like, oh, like this would be really special to share this with someone I love. And I don't know why, but for a long time I didn't have that feeling. I'm getting really deep right now, but again, I think I'm just talking myself through some therapy. My friends, my high school friends, always would kind of be like, not really, just they would kind of question like, oh, you really just want to do this alone? Like, don't you think you would want to share this with someone you love? And I just never had that urge. And again, I don't know if that's emotionally unhealthy, if a therapist would say that that was me trying to, I don't know, find protection in peace and isolation, which I don't think would be that far off, because growing up when there was kind of turmoil in the family, being alone was my safe space. That's where there was peace. But I also think I just was at a phase in my life where I just wanted to, create my own life, as opposed to just kind of riding with what I was inherited from that point in time. So I really feel like from like 19 to 22, I was so in this like independent, I want to do everything alone. I want to start over. I want to go decide the life I want to live. And I feel like, I don't know if now, because I've developed more of a life, I do have more of a business, quote unquote. It's not totally where I want to be, obviously, but like I have more of a career direction. I've had so many solo experiences now that I feel like I've kind of itched that itch, I guess, if you will. And so maybe that's why I feel more ready to like be more inclusive with other people. But yeah, more of the story, that's just been a big lesson for me. And I think that's why a part of me has been struggling a little bit. I do love it here. I think it's so cute and fun. I love all the cute surf shops. I love how everything's walking distance. It's very organic here. I love all the lush vegetation. The weather has been beautiful. I love being able to watch the sunset at night. I feel like I've been living very naturally, but I just definitely feel myself missing that sense of companionship. And I definitely, I'm ready to meet other people, and I don't want to, get small and shy away from being outgoing and putting myself out there to meet more people. But at the same time, I get that. I get how people want their loved ones to come along on very life-changing journeys. Now, that's not to say I'm advocating to not go do fun things until you have people to share it with. I don't agree with that. I do think you need to go. But at the same time, I don't think that I'm at the phase of my life where I don't want to be pushing away people from wanting to join me, because I know that company really can be a beautiful thing. Yeah, that took an interesting turn, but yeah, there's that's that for something I've been going through. Another big lesson that I feel like I've been going through since being here is learning to get rid of control. And I think that's been also a reason why I've been struggling the past week and a half, which again, part of me feels silly. Like, I know an adjustment period is so normal, and I know I don't need to rush it and whatever, but I'm a thinker. I wouldn't have a podcast if I didn't think about everything 24/7. And I think, yes, it's normal that I'm going through this adjustment period in a new country and that I don't feel totally okay in the matter of 7 days. I get that. That's okay. And I've been affirming to myself that that's okay. But I think the reason why this past week has been a challenge is I've realized I've been trying to control a lot of things. I'm in a new country. There's a lot that I haven't experienced. And I find myself, and this wasn't totally what I don't know, it is and isn't what I was expecting, but I think that's why I've been feeling more anxious about things, because it's not what I was expecting, or there seems to be so much that's unfamiliar, that's out of my control. And I feel another thing that allowed me to realize this lesson that's currently in progress is I had a surf lesson the other day. Story for a different day. I will probably capture this on the vlog. But the waves were the biggest I've ever gone out in. I was definitely not ready to go out in those waves. Let's just say that portion of the lesson was not successful. But I got very scared in the middle of the lesson because the waves were like, it's a freaking tsunami. Okay, they were like 6 to 7 foot waves, way overhead waves. And for me, I still am scared of the ocean. Like I love to surf. I get so excited to go, but I would be lying if I said that I was like fully, had no fear going out there. Like every time I go, I'm facing my fears like 100%. Anyways, long story short, I was just very scared in there in the ocean. And my instructor was from Venezuela. Shout out Pedro. He was amazing. He's an icon. And he really had some lessons like in the surf lesson. I'm in like philosophical lessons of just like really letting go and trusting and relaxing and finding peace of mind in the water. And I found myself, because it was super, it's very turbulent when the waves are so big. It's very like mentally chaotic. I get so mentally overstimulated out there. I feel like is also a problem for me when I'm surfing. But anyways, I just realized that like the reason why I felt so uptight and so fearful in the ocean was because I wanted more control in the situation. I felt like a leaf in the wind. I felt very vulnerable, and I wanted the ocean to be calmer. I wanted there to be more consistent waves where I could expect when they were coming. It was just way too turbulent. And in the moment, I wanted control. And I realized that's where my fear was stemming from, was my lack of control. I felt like I was out of control. I didn't have control of that environment in the ocean. And so that was bringing me fear, because a lot of us find comfort when we're able to control things. Our mind, the human mind, does that constantly in so many different scenarios. And I realized after the lesson, like in that moment, I needed to surrender and get rid of control and just be in the flow of the ocean and the way that it was moving that day, and just kind of find comfort in the kind of abrupt pattern, I guess, of the ocean, if you will. And then that made me realize how much I've been trying to control my experience here, and how much this experience has been so different, and how I'm wanting to control it to be a certain way, and blah, 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 blah. And so I've just been trying my best to get rid of control and just be at peace with what is right now, be at peace with what this experience is right now, be at peace with just what what this moment is and not try to, let my past expectations, having those be unmet, ruin the moment. You know what I mean? Like get rid of those, stop trying to control what's going on and just enjoy what is going on. So I feel like that's been a big thing for me. I've also am so out of my comfort zone, obviously, again, first time being in a new country alone and like trying to live in a new country alone. And I think what I'm trying to tell myself is I know that in the moment, this unfamiliarity is going to feel really hard. It's going to feel very challenging. And I feel like I'm in those challenging bits right now. But I also could totally see myself by the time I leave in 4 more weeks being emotional with how much I learned and how much comfort I feel in this safe space now. When at first I felt so like terrified. So, I'm just trying to have grace with myself. And that was another thing that my sister Sophia said when I was kind of talking to her. Like, I feel like it was day 4 of being here, how I just was telling her how I just kind of feel like all the things that were overwhelming to me. I was venting to her and she was like, you need to keep in mind that like the whole reason why you do these things is to be out of your comfort zone. You don't go there to go feel comfortable. You're going there to be out of your comfort zone, which is going to be scary, which is going to be uncomfortable. And I was like, Sophia, you're so right. Like I was kind of exactly what I needed to hear. Like I was like, you're right. Like I'm not supposed to feel comfortable. If I felt completely fine right now, to me, that would mean that I'm not pushing myself out of my comfort zone enough. That means it's too familiar. That means it's not in a growth zone. And I feel like now what I'm experiencing are just truly simply growing pains. And I feel like I was experiencing that before I left. I'm experiencing it now. I'm just going through some growing pains. And I feel like that's a good thing. And I want to document all of this with you guys, through Livfiit, because I think a big part of my message through this platform and this brand is to, evolve into your best self. And in order to evolve, you have to go through growing pains. You have to change in order to evolve. And change can be scary, but there's also the quote that changing is scary, but staying the same is even scarier. And I feel like that's kind of what I'm going through right now. I'm going through the pain and the fear of changing. In order to be better on the other side and in order to just experience more life. And it's crazy because truly that's the other quote, like life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And it's truly just so true. Like I feel like I am definitely going to do another podcast on that. Like it's amazing how much life is available to you when you actually reach out and grab it. And I feel like that's what's going on right now. Like I have been really loving my life in Utah, especially since it's been getting a little bit warmer now. And so I could stay comfortable and just keep living that, or I could get out of my comfort zone and be able to experience a whole other facet of life with so much going on and just get more experience. And since the age of being 15, I vividly remember thinking this to myself, that I want to be rich in experiences. Like I remember that so vividly. That was such a driving force for me, even down to the small things of like, yeah, I can longboard, but I want to try to actually go on a penny board this time. Like as much as I could diversify, I always wanted to do that growing up and learning wake surfing and wakeboarding and paddleboarding and longboarding. And I wanted to try as many things as possible and just be able to simply experience it. Even if it was able to experience it once, it was better than not being able to experience it at all for me. Like same thing why I went snowboarding in the freaking middle of Pennsylvania, because I wanted to have the experience to actually be able to try it. And so for me, that's how I want to live my life, is just doing what I can to be rich in experiences. I just want to be able to have felt that moment, because each moment is so precious and no moment is the same. And so doing what you can to diversify and being able to feel all the moments, I think is what gives life so much vibrancy and just gives life to life and just makes it so much more saturated and interesting. And I love it. And I feel like I evolve so much more as a person when I put myself into new environments. And I just feel like there's a new sense of relatability as well. I just feel like gathering experience is the type of rich that I want to be. So I believe that's all the ranting that I have for you guys. But before I close out this epi, I kind of wanted to run through just a few of my personal development goals that I set for myself while being here. Mainly just to hold myself accountable, to be fully honest, but also just to share with you guys what my direction is while being here for the next 4 weeks. And then again, I am going to be here 2 weeks after that. I have 6 weeks total left in Costa Rica, 4 weeks left in my solo travel journey. So first thing is I really want to start writing my workout PDF program. Huge. That's number one at the top of the list. I still need to figure out how I'm wanting to kind of categorize that, if you will, or how I'm wanting to structure it, because I already have like 3 or 4 different ideas that I want to do for different workout programs, and I don't know which to start with, to be fully honest. I don't know what's the correct. Anyway, that's a me thing to figure out. But 2, I need to get like halfway through my continuing education course for my CPT, which is my personal training certification. There's like continuing education courses that you have to do every like 2 years to just upkeep your certification. And I really need to do that because I'm overdue on that. And I at least need to like get that started. I want to get a good grasp on that to get the momentum rolling. Number 3 that I have written is 2 consistent YouTube videos per week, because I feel like since the beginning of the GD year, I have not been very consistent on YouTube. And I'm sorry, I've been getting like 1 video up a week, but I need to get back to that 2 videos a week. That's just when everything is flowing and I need to get back there. And then a few other things. Reading. I am currently reading Living Untethered by Michael Singer. I finished my other book by Alan Watts. The Wisdom of Insecurity, or The Age of Insecurity. I think it's The Wisdom of Insecurity. Really was a great book. I finished that before I came here. Now I'm reading Living Untethered by Michael Singer. All these books are linked down below in my Amazon store in the show notes, BTW. But I love this book. I love Michael Singer, so I've really been trying to make good progress with that book. Ideally would love to finish this by the end of my time in Costa Rica. That would be, love that. Next thing I'm trying to work on is handstands. Ideally, I would love to be practicing these every day, and I haven't been doing that. But I really want to get better at my handstands and continue practicing those, because I have a great area like on my deck to be practicing. And then lastly, I want to continue just diversifying my way of movement. Again, if you've been watching more so on YouTube, you know that the gym situation here just isn't as, developed as other areas. There's still plenty of equipment in the gym, but I just been wanting to turn to other areas to like move my body, also just to practice not having such like a gym identity, because I feel like with what I do on social media, I tend to identify as like I'm a gym goer, but I really just love movement, and that's what it is at the end of the day. And so that's kind of what I want to get back to, my roots of just like moving my body in any which way and not feeling like I have to do it in a certain way, so I'm wanting to do yoga, beach runs, and Pilates, and kind of alternating doing each of those at least once a week, just to kind of have that diversity in my training and become more of a well-rounded individual and allow my body to move and express itself in different ways instead of just always rigid lifting, even though I love me some heavy lifts. But yeah, so that's pretty much all my personal development goals. That's it for this episode. If you guys really listened to this whole thing, I love you. I feel like we really just bonded in this episode. I feel like this was definitely just kind of a heart-to-heart, chatty, candid episode. Not really much so a preachy one, but I really appreciate you guys listening to me and hearing me out and just being here for me and just holding this space for me. It really means a lot to me. So for the affirmation for today, oh my gosh, I forgot of a huge announcement that I needed to make. Okay. Huge announcement. My Utah retreat tickets are live. I've been getting requests to host a USA retreat since I launched my Costa Rica retreats last March of 2022. I officially finally have it all planned. It's happening here in Utah, or it's like Midway/Sundance area. I would love for you guys to join me. It's a 4-day long retreat. It's just through the weekend. It's Thursday to Sunday. I did it on purpose, so hopefully you guys can get more time, get time off from work. It will just be more manageable and doable. I've done everything I could truly to get the ticket prices down as much as possible. I do not want you guys feeling like this is like a profit thing for me. Like, it's honestly the opposite for me. I'm simply hosting these retreats because I truly believe to my core they're going to be very transformative and very powerful experiences for you guys, and I want to be able to bring you guys a Livfiit lifestyle and allow you guys to experience it. And I want us all to be bonding and growing together. And I just want to bring this real life experience to you guys and bring what I'm doing to real life and having real life interaction. So with that being said, the tickets are going to be linked down below in the show notes. The whole theme of this retreat, it's called the Connect to You Retreat. And I really want these 4 days to be very transformative in the sense that I want us to be able to tap in to just remembering who we are and connecting to our true selves. We live in such a world with constant distraction all the time. And so I want to bring you guys a weekend where you can truly be introspective and kind of just connect to who you are, your emotions, all that sort of stuff, and just ground into who you are. My intention with this retreat is to have you guys leaving feeling very grounded in who you are and have a stronger sense of self. And we're going to be doing that through journaling, through meditations together, and through workouts. There's going to be daily Livfiit workshops of either multiple of those or just one of those that I really really just want to help assist you guys and take you on a self-explorative, progressive journey throughout the weekend. And then we're also going to be doing a lot of fun activities, of course, to get connected into nature as well. So we're going to be doing a hike together, a really cutesy, aesthetic outdoor picnic. And then on the Sunday, we're going to be doing a group, not a group, what am I trying to, well, group, everything is group. We're doing everything together for the weekend. But I mean, a day trip, that's what I'm trying to say. We're doing a day trip to Sundance, which is one of my favorite resorts in Utah. It is such a beautiful area. And there's an option to either do a group horseback riding trail ride that goes by like a waterfall, and then we're stopping halfway to do yoga, which is amazing. Or you could do like a jewelry making class instead at the resort if you would prefer that. Or you could do a free hike in the area if you don't really want to pay for anything extra. So lots of different options. You would be flying into the Salt Lake City airport. I just am really excited about this, and it's very intimate to me in the sense that this is my home. I live in Utah, so I would love to share it with you guys. And it's also intimate in the sense that it's the smallest retreat that I'm hosting. And so with that, I'm hoping for it to be even more impactful. We're going to have way more one-on-one time, more opportunity for intimate conversations with one another. So if you're interested, you can click the link down below to get your tickets. Also, feel free to message me either on Instagram, or if you don't have an Instagram, I guess you can email me by livfiit@gmail.com, LIVFIIT, BY livfiit@gmail.com, if you have any questions. But I would love to have you guys there. And yeah, I think it's going to be really great. So if you're interested, the tickets are linked down below. And for the affirmation, back to what I was saying, for this EPI, I surrender to this experience, let go of all control, and appreciate the beauty in each moment. This is just what I need. It's just exactly what I need. So this is what I came up with. I surrender to this experience, let go of all control, and appreciate the beauty in each moment. I must say I have a ton of, like, this whole wall in front of me is windows, and I love it. I can stare at the bright bluebird sky all day. I can stare at all the greenery, and there's so many butterflies that fly around my Airbnb. I'm obsessed with it. I see them all the time. I always see these two yellow butterflies that are always going together, and I think it's so cute. But I love it. And I think that's just like such a sign that I'll leave everyone with. If you, I don't know, this is me mentioning butterflies, if it's a sign for you. But I've been seeing so many of them, and I love them, and they bring me so much peace. Just kind of blessing my Airbnb. So anyways, you guys, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you guys being here. I'm sending you so much love. I'll see you next Monday. I'll be back next Monday. If you're interested in seeing more of what I'm doing on the day-to-day, definitely go check out the YouTube vlogs happening every Tuesday and Friday if I get my shit together. But yeah, I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and hopefully I'll see you in the next EPI. Peace out.